John, you and I both have a little bit of experience in the horse world, and I feel like the bit's in our mouths, and we're just raring to go. I mean, so much is happening, and we started this. It was like we're going to continue until it ends, right? Till the race is over, and right now the race is getting more and more exciting. So I got you on here. It's Friday, December 3rd. There's lots to talk about. I want to direct this a little bit. So the biggest thing for me, and I know there's so much to report, we could go now. We're going to try to keep it short. Breaking news: Chinese government summons Evergrande's founder after warning of insufficient funds. And the question: has the giant fallen?
Yeah, this is big because this goes back to our original video and my original Bitcoin conspiracy and theory here. And now this came out this morning, and I saw this at 3:27 a.m. this morning. I'm Pacific time, so 6:27, but it was 3:27 a.m. and I jumped. I've been watching the stock. It is just, the stock has been sitting right at 220 from falling. This appears to be a controlled demolition, and when it breaks 220, it's gonna be watch out. But the Chinese government has talked about coming in and saving them. I think it's one of those too big to save situations here. But I think what's really important here, going back to our original, outlying tinfoil hat conspiracy here, was the relationship that Tether had with Evergrande, and the rumor and some documentation that 30 to 40% of Tether's paper is backed by Evergrande bonds. So you can see where this is going. And there's another level here that I'll touch on a bit, but I have a couple headlines and a link to some really good investigations that were done. One in particular was done by Coin Bureau, Tether Papers. Who is buying USDT? It will surprise you. That was done November 27th, 2021. This is recent. I just found this, and it's probably the best investigative video I've seen. Everybody knows that there's something wrong over at Tether here. And then we've got the Senate wants an audit of Tether. I believe it's Monday or Tuesday of next week. So this is going to explode. And I believe that there's going to be shockwaves coming into Bitcoin because so much Tether has been, it's in this article here. I'll read a couple pieces to this. It is in this article here that the research on Tether was that the coin itself, here it is. This is regarding Tether, and there's a couple more pieces I'm going to get to here that are really serious. But before we go on, going back to our original map, the original founder of Tether, one of the original founders was Brock Pierce, who is directly working with Joey Ito and MIT. I have a screenshot of the map here from Graph Commons, which will have a link in the description there. Anybody can look this up for themselves. And let's see here. This article here. This is dated November 17th, 2021. Crypto crime cartel. That's the headline. I didn't make that up. And by the way, this is done by CoinGeek, not some anti-crypto gold publication here. We're not against crypto. We're not against blockchain. We are all for it, 100%. Okay. Sam Bankman-Fried is the co-founder of FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange, which Forbes says currently accounts for 10% of all digital asset derivative trading each month. He also runs Alameda Research, a company raking in more than $1 billion in profit a year, and is invested in countless more digital asset companies, some more publicly than others. Well, this is interesting because we say billion. The word billion is thrown around everywhere in crypto, but it has to be underpinned. Billions backed by what? Paper, digital fiat? There's the big question here, and that's what's really flaming all these investigations, especially this one here by CoinGeek. Though this is absolutely they hit the nail on the head here. We'll have that video in the description there for everyone to see.
There, John, I just want to even fuel the flame further. So as you said, billion is flying around the crypto world. Billionaire here, they're all billionaires. And however, we discussed earlier this morning about Michael Burry, and everyone that knows the Big Short has watched the film or read the book or both, or even just followed some of his Twitter feeds, knows that Mr. Michael Burry kind of knows what the heck is going on and can spot things well in advance of most. And what we discussed is the leverage. So $1 billion might only be a hedge fund with $1 million with 100 to 1 leverage. But all of a sudden that 1 million becomes 100 million. Pretty good game if you can get it. So I paused you, John, to kind of go walk us through that a little bit, that just because you've got, you know, 1 with 9 zeros behind it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a tangible thing you can go touch, like, you know, $1 billion of gold, for example.
That's right. You can't print $1 billion of gold at the press of a button. And that's what's key here. You can't leverage. Well, maybe you can if you work at a certain bank and have, you know, but not, you know, nobody can just walk in and say, oh, we're going to go ahead and trade $1 billion in paper gold. It happens all the time, but we all know what it's for. It's for managing the price of gold and silver. When I say managing, I say managing at the top, and beneath managing is manipulation and suppression. So manage markets here. This is looking very, very similar to how they manage gold and silver here. But back to Michael Burry, I worked in real estate and managed a private fund, and it was a member of the Forbes 400 list. We invested, made a lot of money in real estate, sold everything at the top. 05, 06 was the top. And a lot of people don't know this. When I was done with that, I thought, well, I'm going to leave real estate for a while here to sit back. I got hired by a company that focused strictly on real estate owned properties. And they had a contract that brought in all the bad paper from WAMU, which eventually was purchased by JPMorgan. My job, I was there for about 90 days, 1 quarter. My job was to go in there and assess all the loans and where this was going. At the end, preparing this and giving an assessment of what JPMorgan would be paying to purchase WAMU. Now, that being said, I got hired there because for a year and a half, 2 years, I was pretty much Chicken Little saying, real estate's going to crash, real estate's going to crash. And I had some of the trust attorneys I was working with. I had to make presentations on a monthly basis on my schedule. And I said, look, I want to come monthly because this market's moving so aggressively. Well, I was following Michael Burry at the time. I used a lot of his work and he was right on the money. And for 2 years, people didn't listen to Michael Burry. And then we've got some scenes from the movie, The Big Short, that show people laughed at you. If you said real estate was going to crash in 05 and the beginning of 06, people laughed at you. They just, Chicken Little. That was people call you Chicken Little. Well, we sold, and once we were into cash, you know, we actually went into gold. Actually, I moved my clients all into gold and oil back then, and I spent a lot of time researching Michael Burry, not knowing it turned into a movie, but having that real estate background and analyzing all the loans coming out here was really where I got a lot of my time spent in and cut my teeth on researching this. And it just so happens that the CEO of this company heard me in a conversation for weeks, and then out of nowhere just said, look, come down here, I need you to look at something. I looked at it, I said, it's done. This market, that was the fourth quarter of 2005. We were getting 3,000 foreclosures a week, and nobody was talking about the market crashing. The fax machine was just rolling in. I said, the market's just completely disintegrating. But you go to the coffee shop where we all kind of hung out and rode our bikes and, you know, and socialized, and and everyone was like, real estate's going to the moon. Yes, we're going up. I said, you need to get out. You need to get out. You need to dump your real estate and get into gold. And of course, everyone laughed at me. 2 guys in particular, though, did actually get rid of their houses. One purchased a $5 million beautiful, beautiful beachfront home in Newport Beach, and went to cash. Thanked me later. The market crashed. He said, "Oh my gosh!" He goes, everyone hated you there. They hated you. Were so negative." I said, "Look, this is just the work." But I used a lot of Michael Burry's work from his work that I used in my research, which led me to working for this real estate company that had all the paper from WAMU. So there's my background for basically saying the same thing about real estate right now, because my view on real estate is done. then just what's this, December 2021, just so you know, real estate is done. And it's 5 times worse than 2005, 2006. That's my opinion there. But now, fast forward, when I always follow Michael Burry. I followed him when he started talking about shorting Bitcoin. And I thought, well, that's funny because I'm researching Bitcoin and Tether, and I found all his work, and voila, wow. I said, you know, this guy here, he's an absolute genius. He's very, very, he's out there. That's why I got an Academy for that movie. Well, lo and behold, looking at his work at Bitcoin, I said, wow, this is like old times again. You know, I wanted to get on the phone, Michael, you know, he says, how do you short Bitcoin? You know, and he put it out, and CNBC ran it. Michael Burry tweeted out, how do you short Bitcoin? And in the end, he tweeted out, for what it's worth, I haven't shorted any crypto. And I thought to myself, that's funny, because Michael Burry is the kind of guy who would never disclose what his plans are. It's kind of like looking at JPMorgan and you hear Jamie Dimon say, you know, I think Bitcoin's worthless. And then 2 days later, JPMorgan analysts or crypto guys say Bitcoin's going to $146,000 by Christmas. There was an article, and I don't know if that was the exact date, but they had a target date on there, which completely contradicted what they were saying. But at the same time, he said, hey, we're adults. People have different tastes, and we have services for both sides here. That's the trade. I thought that is really the right attitude to have. You have to have room for both assets. And so now I started going through Michael Burry's work, and I really started digging, and I came to the conclusion after about 2 days, Michael Burry knows what I know. He sees what I see. We have the same background. We did the same thing. By the time I left that job there, December 31st, they asked me and said, write a quick summary. What do you think? And I just said, real estate's done. I said, these people they're never going to see it. I said, the day they see it, it's going to be like sitting at the beach waiting for a tidal wave, and you're on the beach just with, looking out, all of a sudden, a 50-foot, it's Fukushima. It just shows up and you're running for the hills. That's the way real estate works. It doesn't give you any warning. And that's where I see this going here. It's going to be the same thing with Bitcoin and Tether. I believe Evergrande, the assets at Evergrande, some of the bonds, some of the paper is being used to back Tether. Tether has not been audited, but the Senate demands an audit from Tether next week. Next week, the Senate has demanded an audit. So, they get to show up and pull their pants down. And this is going to be really interesting to see how this works out, and to see Evergrande this morning saying, hey, we can't guarantee it. The question is, will the Chinese government come in? Well, maybe they will. Maybe they'll save them. Maybe they'll bail them out. But it doesn't change the fact that Tether has to come up with an audit and ask what is backing, because these guys are literally printing billions in Tether out of thin air. And when you read all these printings going on, you're just like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. But printing crypto in the Tether sphere, let's call it the Tether sphere, that seems to be that just seems to be really simple. I mean, it'd be really nice if we could have a mining company that could do that. It's like, look, David, let's start a mining company. We're gonna call it Tether Gold. How am I gonna start it? It's really simple. I'm gonna mine it on my computer, hit a button, boom, we got $1 million in gold. Then we'll go out there and trade it, and then we'll turn it in for cash. That's what's happening here, and we have everything coming together between Evergrande. We've got Tether in the background, the audit coming from the Senate, and then we've got Bitcoin, which is basically breaking through support today. I think the insiders pretty much know that the game is over. The game is over, and when this starts to roll over here, this is going to roll right back up right back to Brock Tether, right back to Brock Tether, right back to Joey Ito, right back to MIT, and then people are going to start looking at this thing, because these assets, this audit is going to bring that up. It's going to be in Congress. I mean, this is not, I'm not, a couple of people asked me, says, are you anti-crypto? I said, no, not at all. I'm all for it. I said at this stage of the game, but it's like any type of investment. You want to know, where your money's going, what's behind it, who's behind it, just pure risk management. And I'm extremely conservative when it comes to that area, even though I love Love early stage exploration projects. That's my favorite place to be, but that takes a lot of work. It takes an immense amount of research, and that same research that we put in there, we put into to Bitcoin here. But let me quote this from you. This is from the CoinGeek article. Has a crypto bro ever tweeted out, quote, "I don't know what to tell you," unquote, and not been trying to pull the wool over your eyes? Bankman-Fried was likely well aware at this point that in Tether's user agreement, they accept no obligation to redeem a single USDT. No obligation to redeem. Well, that right there is a big red flag. And he mischaracterizes the concern surrounding Tether by implying that because he has been able to sell his Tether, everyone else holding the sum $73 billion worth of USDT will be able to do the same once everyone begins to run for the exit. Wow, that's a big one here. Imagine a $73 billion margin call. I mean, this is Bear Stearns. The music is ending right out of The Big Short here. When the guy, Mr. Sullivan, sits down, gives the scenario here to Jeremy Irons, and he says it just sounds like the music is about to stop. And a little more here. Days later, the New York AG released the results of their investigation, confirming that Tether had been lying about its backing. Now, if that was a mining company in the gold mining company, we would, I mean, we already know what would be happening there. It would be, it wouldn't be good. Saying that the investigators made, quote, no negative findings whatsoever, that Tethers were not fully backed nor were ever used without backing. Okay, so he's never been used without backing, never been audited. That audit is coming next week. Let's see if they show up. Fried endorsed the lie immediately, tweeting his congratulations to the Tether team and saying that, quote, the Tether FUD was never grounded in truth. Okay, the Tether FUD was never grounded in truth. I love acronyms. I'm from Southern California. Like, dude, what's up? This is good risk management, asking all the right questions. That comes, anybody who's an exploration stock investor, that's what you do. You ask all the questions because you know the risk. If you don't ask these questions and go blindly, you can step into a hole and not come out. So one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people that are operating these, they just default to it's FUD, and I forgot what that meant. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. I just thought that was effed up data. That's why I didn't know it was fear, uncertainty, doubt. I just thought that is effed up data. It was never grounded in truth. Well, it should come to no surprise that just a mere month after Bankman-Fried so nonchalantly defended Tether as though he was an impartial observer, his company FTX became the single biggest recipient of over $1 billion of newly minted USDT in February 2021. How does that work? I mean, I know I'm befuddled here. I'm perplexed at how these things work. How do you get $1 billion? Look, I know a couple mining projects that need some money here. $1 billion, I could gas up about 10, 15 companies here and get them rocking and start drilling, do some real mining. Okay, a little more here. This gets good. This is from the CoinGeek article. This is further echoed in research done by Journal of Finance, which last year demonstrated that the exchanges in receipt of newly minted USDT are typically sending them directly to subsidiary exchanges, which almost always results in positive moves in Bitcoin price within hours. Okay, let me read that again to you. This is further echoed in research done by the Journal of Finance, which last year demonstrated that the exchanges in receipt of newly minted USDT are typically sending them directly to subsidiaries, their own people, which almost always result in positive moves in the Bitcoin price within hours. Wow.
Let's define USDT for everybody.
Okay, it's a stable coin. Tether is the largest stable coin in the world. They have not been audited, and no one really knows where they're based out of. It seems to be Hong Kong, but let's talk about that for a second. I believe today CNBC said that all the Chinese companies are being delisted. They're being delisted. Well, if that's in a Chinese company on U.S. soil on a U.S. exchange, and they're being delisted, what do you think the standards, the accounting standards are for a Tether coin, stable coin, digital fiat based in Hong Kong? What are the accounting standards there? We don't know. But I think we all have an idea that there's something up. I mean, once again, this article is written by CoinGeek. This is a pro crypto exchange, and I specifically got this for all the for the naysayers who thought I was just being, anti-crypto here. No. So one more paragraph here. And despite what Bankman-Fried's early 2020 tweets would imply, he, or at least FTX, was closely connected with the Tether team for quite some time. FTX's current chief compliance officer and former general counsel, Daniel Friedberg, who previously worked with Tether's general counsel, Stuart Hoegner, on the ultimate bet ex-capsa disaster. Sounds like a failed scam. Friedberg himself was caught on tape advocating that ultimate bet cover-up, a cheating scandal by lying in order to shift the cost to another company. All right, well, I'm not even going to touch that one. So that is from CoinGeek. The link will be in the description there. We got a few links in there. I highly recommend that you look at these links and look at these pieces. If you're in the crypto exchange here, I firmly believe that there's going to be an event coming when Evergrande goes. This is going to affect Tether. Tether's going to have to. In fact, if this audit is next week with the Senate and Evergrande rolls over Sunday or Monday, and then the audit comes here, it's an ounce of silver or gold is going to feel really good in your hand when that happens. This is why you have physical silver and gold. So with this coming together here, I called you up this morning. I said, look, we got to put together a video on this here. I encourage everyone to look at all the articles coming out on Evergrande. The videos are coming out. The investigations are coming out. I believe, this is my opinion, this is not financial advice or anything, I believe this is going to be a tsunami that's going to come across the ocean here. And when they delist all those Chinese companies and Evergrande and Tether, there's going to be a move on Bitcoin. I think we're going to see an entire market here take shift. And I think it was, I believe there was another newspaper, I believe it was CNBC, said that the entire world is watching Evergrande and is on edge. I said, that's interesting. Why is the entire world on edge over Evergrande? I'll tell you why. They know the same thing I know. This is right out in the open. Anybody can see it. But like housing, this is the danger of real estate. If you're trading futures market, you can put a sell order in, sell stop, and just hit the sell button and you're out. And you're okay, I'm trading 10 to 1, 20 to 1. That's high risk, John. It's like, yeah, it is high risk, but I can hit a button, go liquid and get cashed out with some GMO fake silver paper that's leveraged. That's, it's a trading vehicle. Housing and real estate, you got to go out there, you got to call up an agent, you got to get a sign, you got to get all this. So, when someone tells me, John, you like futures, it's very risky, 10 to 1, you can get leveraged out. I said, yeah. I said, well, you buy a house with 5% down, you're leveraged 20 to 1, baby. Okay, I can get out in 2 seconds. You're not going to get out in 2 months, especially now since sales have gone down. So there's a big difference here. And I've seen this happen. And I had some clients that got wiped out, literally just went from tens of millions of dollars in real estate, beachfront homes, everything. And I was banging on them. You got to get out. They didn't get out. So, you can't figure this out. And lo and behold, it went down. And I believe we're going to see the same scenario with Evergrande, Tether, Bitcoin, stocks, and then that's going to hit the real estate market's already crashing. It's, from my perspective, from my work, it's already going down. Very few people are talking about it, but I just tell people, look, the work I did, at the end, it was, wow, I didn't know these guys were coming over. Is Jamie Dimon coming over to check out my work and give me a brownie button for my work? That'd be great, and it's the same thing now. You look at the paper in real estate, you look at what's going around the country, it's just like Evergrande, it's just like Tether here. So that's the big news. I encourage everyone this weekend to check out the links that David's going to put in this video. and check out the articles and watch the video here from the CoinGeek piece.
John, I'm going to pause you here again. And I was going to do a lightning round with some of the screenshots that I have from our Tether interface, our Telegram interface.
Yeah.
But I'm not. All right, John. This guy doesn't know how to spell Bitcoin, but other than that, it's pretty interesting. Can I get as a kind of a final way to wrap up this issue of the crypto conspiracy?
Oh, another MIT guy here. You know, when I found this, someone sent this to me. I said, "What the hell's the butts community?" And I realized it took me a while after some reading to realize that was the nickname they call Bitcoin. They call it the butts community. So this was about a year old. Anyhow, you know, this is going to be interesting to see how MicroStrategy is going to be affected by this audit on Tether. How far this is going to go back. I mean, it's an international event. It's unregulated. It's really going to be interesting to see how that goes. From what I've been reading and from what I've been seeing, you know, the idea of them using this situation with Tether to be used as a way to basically block the exchange of Bitcoin into local currencies with an international global agreement. And a lot of people think, well, you know, the United States is not going to do it. They're not going to ban Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to be banned. I believe it's going to be the ability for exchanges to convert Bitcoin into the local currency, which is going to be the challenge. And
I've said that often too. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's
often too, John. That yeah, that's not going to go away. It's just your ability to use it may be drastically hampered from where it is right now, and that goes back to the utility. I mean, gold is something for 5,000 years that's negotiable almost anywhere. Going back and saying this for the 1,000th time as you know, when you're a fighter pilot and you've got your survival kit, what's in it? Gold coin. You have a Bitcoin sitting in that survival kit, and why do you have a gold coin? Because it's recognized in Vietnam or Cambodia or Afghanistan, Iran, South America, Mexico, Canada. Guess what? Gold's good almost anywhere.
Yeah, I always tell my clients, always carry 1/10 of a gold ounce or 2 little dime gold pieces inside your wallet. They're small, they're thin, and you can cash them in just about anywhere just for an emergency. Don't lose your wallet, it'd be an expensive loss, but you know, it's you never know. You never know. I've had one person say, you know, John, I had to get some cash. I couldn't access my ATM, and he dumped off 1 dime and away he went. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how MicroStrategy and other large firms that purchased that raised debt and used debt to purchase Bitcoin. Now, I don't know how that money flowed because it went through Coinbase, and it wasn't too long recently after that transaction with MicroStrategy and Coinbase that Coinbase got their Wells notice. And you know, the one thing that everyone has said, and the CEO, everyone has said this about Coinbase, which I thought was interesting, and it goes back to the executive order by Trump. You know, are people going to get warned? Are they not going to get warned? You know, what are the regulators going to say? And I just watched a live interview with the CEO of Binance, and he said the same thing. They're not talking to us. They won't talk to us. And I find that very interesting because there's 2 ways to look at this. Standard, you know, practice, they're not going to communicate with them, or is this the human trafficking executive order, you know, at work here? No warning, no. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. It's extremely complex. Anyone who's been following this series, I highly encourage you to make sure you check out the links. We'll have the graph commas in there, the original map, this new one here from CoinGeek, the article, and the CoinGeek YouTube video. And just those 2 right there will give you some enlightenment on just some of the elements of risk here. And when you look at this, I mean, look, this is once again, counterparty risk with gold and silver. When things go wrong and you have gold and silver in your hand, when things go wrong, it does its job. Just holding it, your job is done. You're complete, you're good. There's so many levels of counterparty risk in this entire chain. It's when it goes, it's literally going to come down like a house of cards. It's going to come down like a house of cards.
Remember, I think it's called Zingo or something. The big, wooden structure, and then the guy comes over and pulls out one piece, and it all falls down as an illustration for what you just said.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting. I didn't get the news. It's 4:51 here on the West Coast. I didn't get the news as how things ended with Evergrande. I got too busy, but I told everyone that I'm working with. I said, look, I don't know what this thing's going to do, but I'll tell you something. We're not going to get the news before the day closes. Okay, and I always like this. This is way back. I had about 1.5 million ounces of silver in the markets back when we were around $16, $17, and I had a few counts going, and we were leveraged up about 4x. And I remember laying at the beach thinking, "Oh, this is great! I'm long silver; it's doing so good." And then I learned about Hong Kong on Sunday. I remember looking at that. Oh, this is just great. Silver's going to pop up 50 cents, and this is just going to be great. Make some money and go have some fun. And I'll never forget sitting at the beach and with my girlfriend, and I looked at, I go, oh, we're sitting there talking about silver and gold and just whatever was going on. And I looked, I said, yeah, silver is just doing great. And I looked at my cell phone. I was like, oh shit, oh, silver just like dropped like 65 cents. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, it's Sunday. Anyhow, with Evergrande not putting out any news today, it's going to come after the close, probably Sunday before they close. The markets will still be closed when the news comes out at 3 a.m. Monday morning or Sunday, and we might get some signals here that something's going to go wrong. And I'll tell you why I say that. You had to look at the price of silver today. It was absolutely beautiful. It was just absolutely a miraculous recovery. I had buys in today at 21.90 and 21.50, and damn, it came down to 21.10. 21 right above 21. I missed it, and people called. Do you think it's going to go that low? I said, I hope so. Silver, and it popped down. And oh, Phil, and then it went straight up. Yeah, I said, okay, I know what's happening here. And you take a look at today's chart here. Look at that recovery here for silver. To me, whoever is buying silver there right now is in the same shoes, probably drinking the same tequila I'm drinking tonight. It's beautiful. Look at gold today. Oh, John, silver. I know when silver and gold are going to do good because I get the same phone calls from the same people. I hate silver. It sucks. How long is it going to bleed? I was like, dude, quit staring at the screen, my friend. Unless you're got millions on the line, it's an investment. Relax. When it moves, when it moves up $2, $3, $4, I'm not going to hear from you. When it moves up $5, you're going to call me up and tell me you're going to take me out and give me a bottle of champagne here. But today's silver price tells me that someone bought some physical silver insurance today, just in case of Evergrande. And I did get a lot of emails today from some interesting people here. So good day. Good time to be in, long silver, a couple million ounces right here, because if Evergrande comes out Sunday or Monday, which I believe it will, it's going to be fireworks here for silver here. And we're due. Silver's due to make that big move because everybody's crying. And there's a couple of people I've been working with now for probably 8 years. And it never fails. I just you're my best technical fundamental trader. When you call me crying, I know silver's within 2 weeks of going up. So 8 years of this, it's the same shit. I said, that's cool. Well, I don't want to bother you. I said, don't listen. I'm going to pay you. When you feel bad, call me. Well, I said, you're like my best indicator here. I had buys in. It was how can you think it's going to go down? I said, it's going to go down, and it did. It went straight down, came close. But this was people who got in today here. Bought that dip, but they're going to really clean up here real fast here.
All right, John, I think we'll stop there. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm getting a ton of good feedback. I think I said it, so Bruce, you can add this or cut it out. Just leave it what I just said with them. Or if I hadn't said it, John, I'd like to share a lot of both sides of the coin, good and bad. Almost all's been good. This one guy on LinkedIn, pretty savvy guy, said, you know what? you guys are spot on, and I love John, and man, he's pulling on the sweater, and just keep pulling. That whole thing's gonna unravel.
Yeah. I said I've been down this road before, and I used to, when I had like I got grilled really good back for a couple years. I had this one trust I was consulting for, and it was every Monday and every Friday my phone would ring, and I thought it's so and so, the trust attorney, and he would just hammer me for months on end. He finally let off, but he grilled me, and I was like, every Monday, Friday, I had to report this is what I did, and I got so used to making presentations that it gave me my work ethic. That's where I got my work ethic from, because the name of the game was, number one, never lose money, and number two, always make money.
Yep. Risk management. John, you've helped a lot of people already. We'll continue this series, like I say, until it's self-evident, I guess. And at that point, who knows? Have a great weekend, my friend. We'll
yeah, thank you very much. And wow, it doesn't feel like Friday. I feel like I'm going to a party tonight. Oh, I am. That's right. Party time tonight. A little Christmas shindig here. David, thank you so much for having this. And for anyone in the audience there, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for David here. He's been just a wonderful help, and just has been great to communicate with here. And yeah, hit that so they can bang out that algorithm for the silver guru.
Thanks, John. We'll catch up.
Okay, have a great.
Very, very soon.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.